time for what? Thank goodness it's what? Friday. Welcome to the shoot around with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. What's going on, K Walk and Jay?
All is well. All is well. Looking forward, like you said, it's Friday. Looking forward to a great week of football and looking for a great show tonight.
Yeah, everything's good. Excited about the show. Looking forward to a good one. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it. You guys ready to talk some football? Some sports, I guess, in general.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Before we get started, I do want to remind you guys, in a few weeks, we are revamping the show. So we are coming to you with a whole new look, whole new name. And we will announce that very, very soon because we are going live with that in about 2 or 3 weeks. So we are really excited. So please tell everybody you know. If you're listening to us on the radio, if you're watching us on YouTube, tell everybody, spread the word. This is big stuff, all right? All right, guys.
Indeed.
First and foremost, let's recap not everything, but let's recap Monday's Night Football. And the reason I brought this to your attention, because last show, we had one person on the show, and I'm going to call him out, okay? Mr. K Walk, a.k.a. Kevin Walker, a.k.a. Kevin 11, whatever else you want to say. He wanted to get my Eagles. You want to get to my Eagles and chose the Vikings. So, K Walk, I'm going to come to you first because the Vikings got whooped. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts while watching this game? Did you underestimate the Eagles just a little bit?
See, what had happened was when I was doing my picks, I had them upside down. No, it was, what can I say, man? I mean, it was just a great performance by the Eagles. And obviously I expected a lot more from Minnesota, Kirk Cousins and those guys. I mean, when you look at those weapons that he has around him, I just didn't think that Philly would be able to keep them in control the way that they did. I mean, they really held them. I mean, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Irv Smith Jr., he had an okay game, but not enough to get it done. But just hats off to the Philadelphia Eagles, especially Jalen Hurts. Coming into the season, we all said, I projected them to win the division, meaning the East. And the reason why I said, because, I believe in Jalen Hurts and I believe he's the key to the success of that franchise. And he looks like he's just taking off right now. He's starting to seem a little bit more comfortable with it. And Jay and I kind of talked about this on Sunday, is that looks like the game is starting to slow down for him, and that's scary for the opposition, scary for the league, especially when he has all of those weapons that he has around him. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I love the way he got Devontae Smith involved in the game early and often, and he didn't have to rely too much on AJ Brown like he did in the first game. But yeah, hats off to him. My foot's in my mouth, and we're going to see how they perform going forward.
Yes. I love proving a 49ers fan wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, I'm so far through 2 weeks, I'm really impressed with Jalen Hurts. The way he, most people would get a number one receiver and they just depend on him. He's the bailout guy. No, he is spreading the ball around. I think this week AJ Brown had the least receiving yards this week, and I think he had about 50 or 60 something receiving yards. Dallas Goedert, I believe, was Goddard was actually top with 82 yards. Devontae Smith was next with 80 yards. So he's really spreading the ball around. And what I love is he's anticipating his throws. He's throwing it to a spot with accuracy. He's been throwing some very nice balls. And going through his progression, which he was missing last year. So the good thing is you can see his confidence growing in the second year in this particular system. But Jay, what are your thoughts on the Eagles win?
Yeah, I just have one small correction, Britt. You said K-Walk picked against your Eagles. It's our
He did
Eagles,
too.
Britt.
Oh,
We're in this
And
thing
you picked
together,
against
Britt.
him too.
It's us.
I keep forgetting that, Jay. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it. So you gotta bear with me a
Yes.
little bit. Bear with me. So
Yeah, yeah.
my bad.
But no,
My fault on that one.
honestly, I underestimated Jalen Hurts. I wasn't sure coming into the year just what he would be and what he would do. And I'll tell you what, he really impressed me. He really impressed me the way that he threw the ball, the way that he was able to move the pocket, but keep his eyes downfield and hit open receivers. And then the other thing I really like about him is when he runs, he doesn't feel like a dangerous runner. Like some of these quarterbacks that run, you're always worried about if they're going to take a hit and get hurt. But just sort of the way that he protects himself, it doesn't feel like he's really putting himself at risk the way we see some of these other quarterbacks do. So if he can keep playing the way he is, the Eagles are going to be a serious contender as we kind of move through this season. So really impressed so far. I just want to watch and see if he can continue to improve and play the way he's playing, because if he does, this is a football team that's built to win. So Eagles are in really good shape right now.
Yeah, Jay, you said it. It's all about consistency. You know, you did it the one game, you may even did it the second game, but can you do it through a 17 game season? So that's going to be interesting. And then hopefully you get into the playoffs. Can you continue with that success throughout the playoffs to get as deep as you can? But I got to get I got to hand my cap or take my cap off. I'm sorry, I can't get the words together. Take my cap off to the defense, specifically Darius Slay. Or as he say, just slay. I'm just slay. Like Cher, just slay. He had 2 interceptions. He held, I think, Justin Jefferson to 1 reception, 7 yards, 2 interceptions every time they threw it over his way in his direction. And he probably should have had about 4 or 5 in total. It's about 3 more that he dropped, which is crazy. I'm like, Kirk Cousins, you need to work on something here. So I gotta tip my hat off to Darius Slay in that defense, but hopefully they could continue it because we got some tough competition coming on in the next several weeks. But guys, we gotta move on to the NBA, and we gotta move on because this guy, I don't know if you guys seen this podcast, but Mr. Ben Simmons, Benjamin Simmons, you get called Ben when I think you're cool. You get called Benjamin on your birth certificate when I think you got problems. But Benjamin Simmons was recently on JJ Redick's podcast, and he spoke about his time with the Philadelphia 76ers. He still says that he still loves Philly, and he still vibes with Philly. I don't know how much I could believe that, but were you guys able to watch this podcast, and what are your thoughts? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
So I saw some clips. I didn't see the whole thing, but I was able to find some clips all over the internet. I have a feeling I'm not going to be as hard as Ben as maybe you guys are. I feel like I'm going to give Ben a pass here. I know he said some things that people are like, is he really taking responsibility? But he did say, look, I didn't handle things well, but the organization didn't handle things well either. So I do feel like there's plenty of blame to go around to everyone. And, look, I was kind of questioning his toughness and all those kind of things when it was all happening, but kind of listening to him. And when he was saying, look, I was trying to let them know I just wasn't ready. I wasn't in a space to be able to play basketball. I kind of believed him. I maybe I'm falling for the banana in the tailpipe. I don't know, but I kind of believed him. So look, we know mental health is a serious thing. And unlike a physical injury where you can actually see it, mental health is a little bit more difficult to discern. So after kind of listening to him, I think I'm going to give him a pass on this one. And, and some of that might be because he plays for my Brooklyn Nets. So I'm going to give Ben a pass. I think he's ready to go. And I just hope everything is smooth going forward.
Now, K-Walk, he says that, right? Wait till that first moment where Ben Simmons is not aggressive, doesn't take a wide open shot. He gonna be so angry. No, but K-Rock, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I did not see the podcast, to be honest with you, but I did hear some of the things that he said. Some of the quotes were out there that I did see. You know, he's excited about being with Brooklyn. He's still riding with the Philadelphia 76ers, or Philly. I think he used the term Philly. You know what? He wasn't in the right mind. He says he wasn't in the right place, I should say. But you know, he seemed to be in the right place when he got that extension, though. When he signed that big time extension. So I mean, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not buying it. I mean, he's just a guy, man. I just don't know. I can't put my finger on it, man. I'm not going to sit here and try to poke fun, because if there is a mental issue there, I'm not going to poke fun at that by any stretch. I think he knows exactly what he's doing, though, and I think everything that he's doing is well calculated. I mean, I don't know, what he wants out of this totally, but he says he's excited about being with Brooklyn. We'll see how that plays out. But how you take what he says as far as him still being with Philly, I don't know, man. If I'm hard, I mean not hard, and if I'm Kyrie and if I'm KD, I don't want to hear that, man. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, you're on board, you're focused here. Your focus should be here, not Philly. Only time you should be focusing on Philly is when we're scheduled to play him. So I'm not. I don't like it, to be honest with
you. Here's my thing. Mental health is real. Do I think he had some sort of mental health issue? Yes, I do. I don't think he's lying. I hope he's not lying about that. I really honestly don't think he's lying. But it's not just about this past year. Look at the years past. Right. Not one time did he improve on a lot of statistics. Free throws, there's no improvement. Matter of fact, you got worse, right? Shooting, right. You didn't want to do it. And the biggest thing, and this has gone all the way back to your days at LSU, lack of aggressiveness. You are not aggressive. This guy is 6'10", 230, 40 pounds. Point guard, can move like a gazelle. He's fast, right? Strong. You fly down that court. Nobody can stop you. You could do basically whatever you want on the offensive side of the ball. And then one thing that really got me on in the podcast was he said, look, I'm guarding the opposition's best player. What you want me to do? Everything? You are getting paid as a superstar. Yes. Yes. I know it's hard to say, and I know it's tough, but if you getting that type of money, yes, we need you to do certain things. Your strength is defense. Your other strength is driving to the rim. I'm not asking you to be the best the 3-point shooter. I'm not asking you to be the best mid-range shooter. But I need you to play at least to your strengths, and you were not doing that the last 3-4 years you were with the team. So it's not just about this year. And if I hear one more time, and I got to come at JJ Redick with this one, because he looked at and said to Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers, come on, y'all know y'all were at fault. They were all at fault. If I got to hear one more time about this press conference, listen to the questions that was presented. Doc Rivers was clearly asked, do you think you can win the championship with Ben Simmons as the point guard? He said, I don't know. He didn't say Ben Simmons stink. He didn't say Ben Simmons was a terrible player. Throughout the entire year, who did Doc Rivers defend? Benjamin Simmons. Joel Embiid. Yes, I kind of blame Joel Embiid a little bit more because he did say the one turning point of the game, which is not true, was that he decided to give up the dunk. But he also came at Matisse Thybulle, right? He also said during that I did not play my best game. I turned the ball over a lot. So he put blame on himself as well as other people. So Benjamin Simmons, I'm talking to you, you got to stop. Grow up. You're not in your little boy underwear anymore. Little boy, you a grown man. It's time to act like a grown man. I understand you was going through some things, but let me tell you something. If you got a problem with Philly media, New York media ain't no better. They ain't gonna get no better over there. So it's time to get it together, y'all. It's time to get it together.
Hey, Britt, I think you're right, like about the criticism of him, like not getting better, not working on his game. not being aggressive, all those things. But I do think Doc Rivers does deserve some blame, because I don't care if you believe I'm a point guard that can lead your team to a championship or not. Players need, at least in the media, to feel like their coach has their back. Like, I know if I was a player and somebody asked me and my coach was like, I don't know, I would feel some kind of way about it, even if the coach doesn't believe it. You handle that in-house. You don't put that out in the media. So I feel like Doc failed in that moment. He could have said yes. What was it going to hurt? It wasn't going to hurt anything if he's like, yeah, we believe in Ben. He can lead us to a championship. But to come out and publicly kind of show a lack of confidence in your starting point guard, I thought that was a bad move by Doc.
Yeah, it's kind of like
go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of like, just to piggyback on what Jay said, it's kind of like the Godfather thing. It's like, listen, you can tell everybody, whatever you want to say in the inside the house, but you never go against the family. You never say anything negative about the family in public. You keep that in house. So I agree with you there. Doc should have just said, even if he believed it or not. I know we can win with him, even if it helps him, give him more confidence. Even if he knew 100% that he had no confidence in Ben, leading them as the point guard. But you see, like Jay said, you say that in public to make it look like you never want to air your dirty laundry. So it's kind of like one of those, kind of like the Godfather, like I mentioned. You never go against the family.
You know what? You guys are right, but I can't. And I did give Doc some blame. But I can't also go against the fact that throughout the entire season, even after that, what did Doc say? Why does Ben need to shoot? He does everything else great. That's not what he said. He said that constantly, over and over and over and over again. So if that didn't help your confidence and you are upset about this one little 2-second moment that Doc may have had, then that's on Ben at that point. Stop being so sensitive. It's like, all right, guy, you put your big boy drawers on. It's like, all right, Doc messed up. That's not a reason to leave town or want to leave town. But I'm happy he is where he wants to be. I still think he's young enough to develop and have the success that hopefully he wants to have, and to reach potentially his high ceiling that we all have seen when he came out of LSU. But it's going to all be on him. Now he has no excuses whatsoever. You have none whatsoever. Okay? Because it's interesting how Joel got better. Interesting how even Tyrese Maxey got better. But you're still at that same plateau. All right, guys. We're going to head into our first break. When we come back, we got to get into some NFL. It's a lot of football that was happening, some big time games, and then we're going to do some preview and predictions for this coming weekend. Actually, when we come back, right on the other side, we're going to go into our top 10 teams in the NFC after week 2. But you guys are listening to the Shoot Around with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Welcome back to the Shoot Around with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. All right, guys, prior to the break, we did a little recap of the Eagles versus Vikings. I got on K-Walk a little bit about choosing the wrong team. Now, hopefully he knows next time to go with my team. No, I'm just kidding. And then we also talk about Ben Simmons, and I do wish Ben Simmons luck, guys. So those who's listening to us, those who are watching us on YouTube, I don't hate Ben Simmons. I'm a huge fan of his, and I want him to succeed. All right, guys, but let's go back to the NFL, and I want to talk about, after 2 weeks of football, who are your top 10 teams in the NFC, the National Football Conference? K-Walk, I'm going to come to you first.
Of course you would. This was tough because it's only been 2 weeks, and you just go by the record, but going by the just the eye test, if you will, because some of these teams are going to have better records than others, and that are going to be lower than the other teams. But I'm going to start at number 10 here. I have my list here. At number 10, just one moment here. This was tough, Brett, because 10 teams, that's more than half the NFC. So it's kind of hard to put 10 teams together. But I'm going to say the Saints are number 10 right now. I'll go through it real quick, so I know we're pressed on time, but I'll go with the Saints right now. I think that Jameis has to the last game, Jameis wasn't the Jameis that we saw in the first game. I think he has to do a better job of spreading the ball around like he did the first game, as opposed to the second game, as far as the with the Bucks. I know the Bucks came to play that day, and then I know Tom Brady wanted to get that monkey off of his back, if you will. Number 9 team. I mean, going in, I had them, probably no top 10, but that's the Minnesota Vikings. But your Philadelphia Eagles kind of knocked them down on the list, for sure. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I think that was an off game for Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to put all of it on Philly. I'm going to put a little bit on Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins was seeing ghosts out there on Monday night, but nothing to take too much away from him from the Eagles, though. Next one, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals, man. The Arizona F7, S7. No, this is 8. I'm sorry. The Arizona Cardinals. That little guy, man, that little Tyler, man. A lot of people call him a Tyler. I mean, he's just the difference in that team right there, man. I mean, he just extends plays. Anytime that you can have a quarterback that can extend the play for 20 seconds, that's just unbelievable right there. Because usually it's about five plays takes 20 seconds. So I'm going to give it to the Arizona Cardinals because of Kyler Murray. And then when DeAndre Hopkins gets back, then, we're going to see a different team there as well. Next team, I'm going to give it to the Dallas Cowboys. That's number 7. I'm going to give it to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, I know right now Dak is out right now. But the fact of the matter is, I think Cooper Rush can get the job done. What he did on Sunday against Cincinnati, I think they're okay there. I think they're going to be okay if they can just stay within themselves. Don't ask Cooper Rush to do too much. And then, of course, you got CeeDee Lamb and you got Tony Pollard. And you got Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, I said Tony Pollard before Ezekiel Elliott. I did that on purpose. And then you got, arguably the best defensive player in the game itself. And I know we're going to get into this, but arguably, and that's Micah Parsons. I mean, you got him doing what he does on that and anchoring that defense. I think they're going to be okay until Dak gets back. Their schedule favors them. So right now I'm going to put them at 7. Right now I had them this team here, but I'm gonna bump them up a little bit, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm gonna bump the Philadelphia Eagles up to number not number. So this is 5. Where I'm at 5.
Yes,
I'm at 5. Am I correct? Yeah, 5, 6. I'm sorry, 6. I'm going to give it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, I don't know where we're going to get with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now because of the fact of the matter is, I don't know if Tom Brady is going to be able to do this week in and week out. So this is going to change. Obviously, this is going to change for me weekend, kind of like college football. This is going to change for me week in and week out. But I'll give it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 5, I'm going to give it to the Green Bay Packers. I mean, you still got Aaron Rodgers there. I know they're without some receivers there, but I'm going to give it to Aaron Rodgers at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to give it to your Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, I'm putting the Eagles at 4. Okay, I'm putting the Eagles at 4 because of the fact of the matter is they look good. I still think, I don't know if they're going to be able to withstand what we're seeing for the first 2 weeks. But if Jalen Hurts can continue to be what he was Monday night and last week, we'll move up on my list. Number 3, I'm going to go with my San Francisco 49ers. I mean, I just think, we didn't know what we were going to get with Trey Lance at the helm. We knew all the pieces that the 49ers had around them. But you know what you're going to get with Jimmy Garoppolo. And a lot of these players feel as though that Jimmy Garoppolo is that guy that can get him there. He's already proved that he can get him there. He was 3 points away from getting into the Super Bowl last year. And it's kind of that age-old saying, go with the known and leave the unknown alone, if you will. And that's what they're doing right now. They're going to go with the known and go with Jimmy G. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams here. I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. I know they don't look consistent right now, but they still have Cooper Kupp. They still have Matthew Stafford, that defense as well. And number 1, I'm going to go with who did I have at number 1? I'm so sorry. I think I went off here. I think I had the Rams at number 1. I think I missed one here, guys. but I do have, the Rams are actually number one. So everything that I mentioned, just put him back, move him up one, and then number 10, because I think I did miss one. I apologize for that, guys. But at number 10, I believe I'm going to go with, here, looking at this list, I'm going to go with the Giants, the New York Giants right now. I know it's rough. I know it's kind of rough, but it's somebody has to be at number 10. There's only 16 teams in the league. So in the conference. So I'm going to go with the Giants at number 10. So just move everybody up on my list that I gave you before. I put the Giants at number 10. It's going to be an interesting game Monday night to see what they can do against those Cowboys. So those are my lists, and I apologize for being out of order a little bit.
So you put the 49ers at 2. That sounds like a homer right there.
I just think with Jimmy D there. I mean, if the Trey Lance was there, I just don't know. There was no known there for me. I was just more of a hope thing than anything. But when you get Jimmy G, you know what you're going to get, and you see how they responded once he came into that game. And I think a lot of guys just weren't sure about about Trey Lance.
All right, Jay, what's your top 10?
If you think K Walk's a homer, wait till you hear my list. At number 10, I got the Detroit Lions. Tough, hard-nosed football team. They're going to surprise some people. I got the Lions at 10. I have the Saints at number 9. A lot of the reasons K Walk mentioned. I don't trust Jameis, so we'll see what happens with the Saints. I have the Giants at 8. They're 2-0, so you got to give them a little credit. Saquon looks like he's back to being Saquon, so I got the Giants at 8. At 7, I have the Minnesota Vikings, but honestly, if I could redo this right now, I'd probably knock them down a couple pegs because Kirk Cousins, he's just so hot and cold all the time.
Yeah.
At number 6, I've got the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, man, there's something about him that bothers me, as I told you the other night, K-Walk, but it's hard to overlook the playmaking ability that this guy has. So I got the Cardinals at 6. I've got the Green Bay Packers at 5. Good team, but they just underwhelm me. They just don't interest me at all. So I got Green Bay at 5. I got Tampa Bay at 4. We'll see what Tom Brady can do with the Bucs. A lot of guys injured right now, so we'll see when those guys can get back on the field. But I got the Bucs at 4. I have the Rams at 3, K-Walk, for reasons you mentioned. A little bit inconsistent right now, so they're at 3. I have your 49ers at 2. Because I believe they have a roster that is ready to win now, and putting Jimmy G in that lineup, of course it was from injury, but having Jimmy G in that lineup, I really think it makes them better right now. So I got the 49ers too. And after that performance the other night, I got the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. I think defensively, as Britt mentioned earlier in the show, if they can continue to play defense like that, turn the ball over, and Jalen Hurts is going to play the way that he played, to me, they look like the best team in the NFC right now. So I've got the Eagles at number 1.
I like that list.
No. I knew you would, Britt.
I like that one. No, for me, I did things a little different. So at number 10, I got the Vikings. I feel like that Packers game, the Packers did the same thing last year that they did this year. They lost that first game, and then they started to get things rolling later on. So I'm not really impressed with the Vikings just yet. And I think it's primary Kirk Cousins. At number 9, I put the Cowboys. That Bengals victory was really impressive for me. I think Cooper Rush, I don't know why. I just like how he runs the offense a little bit more than Dak Prescott, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Number 8, I put the Saints, the New Orleans Saints. I'm still not sure if I trust Jameson Winston yet. That's basically what it comes down to. Number 7, Arizona Cardinals. I like Kyler Murray, but then at times I don't like Kyler Murray. And personally, the last game, I think he got lucky because if that was against any other defense, he's not going to be able to run around wide open like that. Number 6. Now, I know it's a little high, but they're really impressed me. I put the Detroit Lions. They have been balling. And I know some people will be looking at me like, huh? But they have maybe a top 5 offensive line right now, maybe best in the league, and they have a great running back in DeAndre Swift. So, and he's unstoppable. And I think if you put the right pieces around Goff, he's a serviceable quarterback that could get it done. Number 5, don't kill me, K-Walk, but I put your 49ers there. only based off of the 2 weeks. I know they are going to improve because they now have Jimmy G. So that's what it is. It was based off of Trey Lance primarily. And like you said, I just don't think they had the energy around Trey Lance. But Jimmy G, the defense and the offense, they're gonna get uplifted with him. Number 4, I put the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford's not looking right to me right now. I don't know if it's his elbow, but the offense is not looking that great right now. Aaron Donald is not playing like Aaron Donald. I know he's another year older, but again, it's only week 2, so we'll see what happens. Number 3, I put the Green Bay Packers. I just think they're going to start getting things rolling. I really do. Just like last year, things are going to start getting rolling. And then we're going to see Aaron Rodgers be Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, I put my Philadelphia Eagles. No, I didn't put us at number 1, not yet. But I love the way Jalen Hurts has been playing. I still think we've been making some mistakes because the last game we should have had about 34 points. So they have to really fix those, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And the defense has to get better pass rush. So that is a concern. And number 1, I did pick Tampa Bay primarily because I think they may have the best defense right now in the league. That defense is crazy, and that's the reason why they've been winning their games. Now, it's just going to take a little time because eventually Tom Brady will catch up to that defense very soon with those pieces. So that's my top 10. All right, guys, we got to get ready to head into our first break. But before we do, I know I wanted to go through a couple previews and predictions, but I think I prefer to ask a question to you guys. Because this is really, I'm really curious to know your thoughts on this particular quarterback. Now, recently he threw about 6 touchdown passes. I think it was about 6 in a comeback victory against the Ravens. But do you really believe in Tua? Is it you think this is really him, or you think this is just a one game thing? Jay, I'm gonna come to you first.
I absolutely believe in him, Britt. I told K Walk a few weeks ago on one of our shows that I thought Tua was going to have a great year. I think he's a really good player. Obviously, injuries have hurt him in his first couple of years, but if they can protect him with the weapons that he has on offense, I think obviously he's not going to throw for as many yards and as many touchdowns as he did last week all the time, but I think he's going to have a great year. Touchdowns, passing yards, all those things. And I think he's going to take care of the football too and not turn it over a whole bunch. I just think when you have the kind of offensive weapons that he has, it's really hard to mess that up. So I think he's going to be fantastic this year. Yes, I believe in Tua. I believe in the Dolphins as well.
What about you, K-Walk?
Yeah, I agree with Jay. I think he can sustain what he's done up to this point because everything that Jay mentioned, and also not to leave out their head coach Mike McDaniels there, yes, who came from that Kyle Shanahan's offense. So he knows how to design plays, and when you get a quarterback like a Tua, it's just going to make it look even more sexy, if you will. But yeah, I agree with Jay. And I believe that he's going to be able to sustain this. We're definitely going to get a true test to this week, this Sunday when they go against the Bills. So, if he can, lead them to a victory, there's going to be a lot of Tua believers out there. And before that happens, I am one of them. So, yeah, I definitely believe in Tua.
I think I'm on the fence here. I'm still on the fence a little bit. I know it was an exciting game, the last game. But we've seen those type of games from certain quarterbacks. We really have. They have these one great game, and then we don't see another great game again. I need to see a little bit more consistency. So just a lot of times with Jalen Hurts, a lot of people want to see more consistency. I need to see that with Tua. So I'm still not quite the believer just yet. So we'll see. We'll see in time. But real quick, 5 seconds, because we got to head into break. K-Walk, I'm coming to you directly, and I'm going to ask you this. Who you got on Sunday, the Eagles or the Commanders?
I thought you was coming with a real question. Yeah, no doubt. That's a no-brainer for me, man. After seeing what they did to Minnesota on Monday night, I'm going Eagles. I'm not saying fly, Eagles fly, but I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one for sure. Carson Wentz, it just doesn't have enough. The Commanders are going to be okay in that division for the most part. I don't think they'll finish in the bottom, but you'll be a fool to go against the Eagles this week.
Okay, I just had to make sure, but Jay Walk, Jack, I was going to say Jay Walk. I meant to say Jay.
Jay Walk.
Change our show name.
Got a nice ring to it.
No, it's Sunday.
But, Jay, real quick, who you got? I'm just asking everybody.
I'm with K Walk here. I got the Eagles all day long. I'm not going to pick against my Birds all year this year, so I got the Eagles for sure.
Yeah, and of course I had the Eagles as well. But guys, we're gonna head into our next break, and on the other side of the break, Jay is gonna take over for some more exciting football talk. But you guys are listening to the Shoot Around with myself, Britne Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Shoot Around with Britne Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. All right, guys, before we jump back into some football talk, let's shift gears over to the NBA, because the big story over the last 24 hours, Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka suspended for 1 year for having an inappropriate relationship with another staff member. What are your thoughts on this, K Walk? I know your wife Heather is listening, so me alone may be back on the market, K Walk. So just be careful with whatever you say here. I don't want to get you in any hot water. But K Walk, man, what were your thoughts on this whole situation, man? It feels kind of like a circus, but break it down. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, with all seriousness. Now, I mean, this is something, man. It's you look at it and you a lot of people say, well, it happens all the time and it happens here. Men go out and do what they do. It was consensual, so it's not something that was forced on to her. There were reports that there was, and then it came out that it was consensual. So, but the Boston Celtics, set themselves at a high standard, with stuff that goes on in the workplace, and this was, obviously taboo. It's in there. It's not only known around the franchise or around the organization, but it's in their handbook, I believe, as well. He knew that going in, and it's like what a lot of people do when they do wrong, they just think that they can just get away with it. They know it's wrong, for twofold. One, it's against policy, and two, you got a fiance as well that that you're letting down, and you're letting down the family name as well. So with all that being said, I just think it's something he thought that he was going to get away with. It's rough, man, and I know he's going to be suspended. They had the press conference today, Brad Stevens and the owner there, and they're saying that they're not going to talk about or elaborate more after as far as what going forward is after the 2022-23 season. They're not going to elaborate on that, but rumblings are that he's not gonna be coaching there anymore. He's pretty much done there. They got Joe Mazzello there, which a lot of guys and a lot of people are high on as well. But it's going to be a huge hit to Boston for sure. He got him 2 games away from winning it all last season, and I thought he was the perfect fit for everything that they had going on. They made some really big moves in the offseason as well by bringing in Gallinari. I believe he hurt his ACL though. But it just seems like it's a hit that Boston did not want to take, man, for sure. It's sad that he put his family name through this, and and I know he's just got his head in the mud right now, man, in the dirt, and he's probably ashamed to come up and speak about it. But I know he eventually will. But tough decision, man. I mean, it's a decision that it's going to cost him, another coaching position for quite some time, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's well said, K Walk. It's funny how, these coaches, they work their whole lives to get in these positions, right? The head coach of the Boston Celtics, and that you're willing to risk all of that, for a relationship or for some physical status, whatever the case may be. You work your whole life to get where you are, and you're willing to put all that on the line. It's just mind-boggling. But you're right. When these kind of things start, you just never think you're going to get caught. And that's really kind of how it boils down. But Britt, what say you? What were your thoughts on this whole thing?
I wonder if you think it was worth it now. Was it worth it?
That's what I'm saying.
I think that I know that answer. So you lost your job, basically. You potentially lost your family. I know 1,001 men right now that's lined up, waiting and hoping that Nia Long selects them. But no, he understood the rules. He understood the guidelines. He became the coach, so you are the boss. You are technically an executive within that organization, and you thought you could get away with it with the power, and you realize it's not worth it in the end. Especially when it's not even about the job anymore, but potentially that you can lose your family. To me, that's the biggest thing. But I don't think Boston necessarily gets out of this neither, because it's real interesting how I'm pretty sure, there are 1,001 big time organizations, known organizations that are constantly in the spotlight, like different NFL teams, NBA teams, and so forth. But somehow we knew this was a consensual relationship and he violated the workplace policy. It just so happened to get leaked out with this organization and this particular head coach. So I'm really questioning exactly how it got leaked out. And why was it so publicized? Because they could have just came out and said, we suspended him for 1 year due to workplace violation, or whatever, workplace violation of the policy or whatever it might have been. So that's interesting. So I am glad that Coach Udoka, I just learned his name, did take responsibility. So hopefully this starts the healing process for him, and hopefully he does gets another opportunity. I don't know if I would have been okay with the 1 year suspension, because now you stuck for a year and you get a financial hit as well with your salary. I would probably prefer to get let go and see if I can go elsewhere. But I mean, we'll see what happens. It's going to be, like K-Walk says, it's going to be interesting to see how it hits the team during the season, because they just lost a big time player, bench player. New coaching or interim coach, but he could have different strategies that doesn't fit well with the team, and the team could be a little bit at odds. I know they're having some issues a little bit with Jaylen Brown and trying to figure out that situation. So this is going to be an interesting year for the Boston Celtics. Hopefully they can fight through it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least. K-Walk, gut feeling. Will Udoka ever coach another game for the Boston Celtics?
Oh, for the Celtics, no, definitely not, Jay. I think that they pretty much kind of alluded to it, but they didn't want to elaborate on it. They didn't want to touch it because they're saying it's just for this year right now. But my gut feeling tells me no, Jay, absolutely not.
Britt, do you feel the same way, or do you think he'll be back on the sideline after 1 year?
It's like he took you to the championship in your very first year. I think it depends on what else may have happened, because I feel like this is just not going to add up to a 1 year suspension with the consensual relationship. I feel like there may have been some other things that came about. So I think because of that, I'm gonna say no. But he can always come back to the Sixers. We'll take him.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I just think it would be really hard for him to walk back through those doors. He's probably lost the respect of a lot of people in that organization. It's just going to be really hard for him to come back in there and kind of command the respect that's necessary to lead a basketball team. So I don't see it happening either. All right, good stuff, guys. Let's jump back over to football here. Leave it to the Dallas Cowboys, after I renounce them, to go ahead and win a football game. They shocked me the way that they played against the Bengals. I was talking down Cooper Rush on Sunday morning, and he just went out and completely proved me wrong. Britt?
Are you having second thoughts now? I need to know this
now.
No.
Britt.
I just want to make sure.
They wasn't that surprised. They wasn't that good.
I am committed. I'm committed. Okay. But what'd you think of the Cowboys, Britt? I mean, they looked decent on Sunday, given all the circumstances. What'd you think?
I'm still not super impressed with the offense. They still have to work with the offense, but like I said earlier in the show, I like how Cooper Rush is managing this offense even more than when Dak Prescott is running the team. I know a lot of people may kill me for saying that. I just like how he gets everybody involved. You know, he's about to make Noah Brown, a wide receiver, Noah Brown. I think he had like 90 something yards that game. He's about to make him look like a star. So I need CeeDee Lamb to step it up another notch. You getting paid the number 1 receiver. You got the number 88 now. So I need you to step it up a notch. I just like the way he's managing the offense better than Dak Prescott. And Cooper Rush seems to be very calm, making the necessary throws that he needs to make. And of course, they got my guy on that team, which I wish they didn't, but it's okay. Micah Parsons. And he seems to be an unstoppable force on that defensive side of the ball. He already has 4 sacks in 2 games. If he continues this trend, I think he breaks LT's record. But we'll see. But I'm really impressed. I am really impressed. Although I'm not that impressed with the Bengals.
You know what? Like with the Cowboys, I almost feel like this was one of those circle the wagons, everybody band together moments. Like they're going through adversity. Nobody believes in them. Everybody's talking bad about them. So they come out and play the best possible game they can play. I don't think they're going to be able to maintain that. I think they're going to fall off over the next few weeks. But K-Walk, what say you? Do you think the Cowboys can maintain this? Can Cooper Rush continue to play at that level?
No, I don't believe so, JB. I have to pretty much what I was going to lead off with what Britt ended with, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. I just don't think that the Cincinnati Bengals are as good as they were at the end of the season last year. So I think that's had a lot to do with it. It was a low-scoring game. It was just 2 mediocre teams at best going at it. Someone had to win. It was the Cowboys. I think Cooper Rush and Noah Brown, they have that combination because they are usually playing together, and on the second string, and then they get a lot of reps there. So, that the quarterback always has one receiver that he has a connection with. It just happens to be Noah Brown. So I don't think they can sustain this. I just think that was a game that, again, like I said, 2 teams that were just evenly matched, and they was just the better team on that particular day. It's going to be interesting to see how they go into MetLife Monday night. I know we're going to talk about that, but and against the Giants. But I don't see Cooper Rush leading this team to a playoff, and that's why Jerry Jones doesn't. I don't believe Jerry Jones believes that either, because of the fact of the matter is every week he keeps, Dak Prescott keeps getting closer and closer to coming back. I don't know where he's getting this information from, but I just don't know what it is. The Dr. Jerry Jones, right? I know he wants to have all the hats, but a doc too, brother. But I don't know. But no, to answer the question, I do not think they can sustain this with Cooper Rush at the quarterback.
Yeah, and if they rush Dak back, I think that's a mistake. Like I think that is just not the smart thing to do. So hopefully someone will talk some sense into Jerry and try to allow him to be patient. But guys, I want to do a round of take your pick. And let's do it just based off of this year right now. Who would you take? Forget about their past history. Let's just go with how they're playing right now. And I'm starting with Tua against Lamar Jackson. K-Walk, take your pick right now. Who you got, Tua or Lamar?
Wow, they both had a great game on Sunday, man. I mean, look what Lamar Jackson did. Wow, man. Lamar can bring so much with his legs, man. Wow, Jay, this is a tough one. Tua has those weapons. I'm going to see. Well, if we're going to, I'm going to take Lamar. I'm going to take Lamar. Reason being, he's doing a lot more with a lot less. So I'm going to, from a quarterback to quarterback standpoint, I'm not going to compare what they have, as far as surrounding. So with that being said, I'm going to take Lamar because I think Lamar is better off at being able to do more with less. So Lamar, I'm going to take Lamar.
It's you can't go wrong here. I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Guys, tell me, did you see Lamar break that long run on Sunday,
Yes.
like the long touchdown run?
Yes.
To me, he looked a step slower. Did anybody notice that? He usually runs away from everybody, and it was kind of like they were kind of chasing him down a little bit. I thought he looked a step slower, but that could just be me.
I thought he was Jay. I thought he was toying with him. I thought he was just toying with him. So I don't think he was at full speed.
Yeah,
I think he was at an 8. I don't think he was at 10. I don't think he was at a 10.
He may have been. But I'm taking Tua. I'm taking Tua.
Right.
I think over the course of this year, he's going to be better than Lamar. I think he's going to be more consistent. I think he's got more weapons, as you alluded to, K-Walk. I think he's going to have the better year. So I'm taking Tua. Britt, break the tie. Which way you going here?
This is what I will say, Jay. Lamar, one step slower, is still faster than every other quarterback in this league.
True.
Still faster. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I got to stay consistent. You know, like K-Walk would say. Tua, I just think it was a one game fantasy. You know, he just got up for this one game. I got to take Lamar. Lamar has shown it over the years, and I think he's shown it in the first couple games as well. I know he didn't play, or the team as a whole didn't play that well in the second half of the Dolphins game, but I think this is a payday for Lamar. We forgetting this, it's paid time, so he's going out to prove himself, and he's been doing pretty well thus far. I'm just not certain about Tua. If Tua didn't have Tyreek and Jada Waddle, we'd be saying something else. You put Lamar on Tua's team right now, we'd be saying Lamar could be potentially the top quarterback in the league. So I'm going with Lamar. I just think he's more talented as a quarterback.
All right, let me write down. Britt said Tua was a one-game fantasy. We're going to come back and revisit this next week.
He's not getting 6 touchdowns anymore. Defenses are going to play to that. Watch.
All right, let's talk about 2 more young QBs. Let's go to Philly, Jalen Hurts, who's looked great, and then Kyler Murray, who for me is unlikable, but look, you can't deny what he's doing on the football field. Britt, who you got? Take your pick. Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray.
This one's actually not that easy. Now, again, I just said the same thing with Tua, didn't I? Kyler Murray was doing some amazing things in that backfield. But if you go against a much better, who do they play again? Oh, the Raiders.
Raiders.
You go against a much better defense, will he be able to run around in the backfield all crazy like that? Probably not. But what comes down to me is thus far what I've seen is decision making primarily. And I just think that right now, Jalen Hurts is the better decision maker thus far. Now, it's only through 2 games. We still have a long season. And like I said earlier, he has to be consistent and continue in his development. But I really like Jalen Hurts. He runs when he's supposed to. He's learned how to keep his eyes down the field on the run, making throws, throwing into tighter windows, better accuracy, better anticipations. I'm really impressed with Jalen Hurts. Hopefully he can keep it up. Kyler, I'm still worried that you're playing too many video games. I'm questioning your decision-making at times. So I got to go with Jalen Hurts. I like Kyler Murray. I do like him. I got to go with Jalen.
No, look, I think it's fair to question Kyler's preparation, his focus, his attention to detail. I think all that is definitely on the table. This is tough. I think I'm going to take Kyler Murray here, though. I just feel like he throws the ball better than Jalen Hurts, and he's just as good, if not a better scrambler and runner. So right now, I'm going to take Kyler. Now, Jalen is probably going to close that gap over the course of the year, but I think I got to go with Murray right now. Okay, Walk, we got another tie. Break it. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Britt on this one. I'm going to take Jalen Hurts here, man. The reason why I'm going to take Jalen Hurts, I just think, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about, that Eagles and Vikings game, is that I just think you can start to see that the game is slowing down for Jalen Hurts, and that's scary. And he uses his legs, like you mentioned, Jay. He runs smart. And when he runs under control. You don't expect anything bad to happen to him when he gets hit. Shout out to my man Trey Lance. Get better soon, brother. But Kyler Murray, man, it just seems like, his height always has I always have a problem with his height or lack thereof. And Britt mentioned the video games. He runs around like he's playing a video game. And I think somebody said something like, he ran around looking like he just stole his parents' cell phone, and the way he was running around on that one play. But yeah, man, I just think that, he's just too short, man. I don't think he's a Jalen Hurts right now. He's good. Don't get me wrong. I like what he brings to the table, but like you mentioned, Jay, I just don't think his mental preparation is there. And I think Jalen Hurts is, man. And seeing that guy squat, weight that he squatted in high school and what he's squatting now, he puts that work in. So I'm going to take Jalen Hurts for sure. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's a convincing case for sure. Let's do a young up and comer versus an old Grizzly vet. Josh Allen against Aaron Rodgers. Who you got right now? Forget about the history.
Yeah.
Right now, if you had to take your pick, Britt, who you got? Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers.
Now, see, Rodgers don't have a receiver, so we've seen that in that very first game where they probably should have beat. I forgot who they played that first game. Where he dropped the rookie receiver, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie receiver dropped a wide open pass, perfectly placed in his hands. But right now, I gotta go with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is on fire right now from everything. Yeah. His throwing. He has Stephon Diggs back there, Gabe Davis when he's healthy. He's a big body. He's big boy receiver, running when he needs to take off. It's hard to tackle him. It's like he's just seeing the field very well right now. So right now I'm going with Josh Allen at this moment.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I'm going with him as well, Britt. I just think he's playing great football right now and total control of that offense. It's crazy to pick against Rodgers, but I'm taking Allen. K-Walk. Can you make this thing unanimous?
I most certainly can, man, and without hesitation either. So, I for everything that you guys mentioned, I mean, Josh Allen is just he's like a Cam Newton, a Patrick Mahomes, and an Aaron Rodgers, all in one, man. He's a big guy he's very mobile, man, very strong when he does run. We see the stiff arm in the first game of the season against the Rams, and we can see, he has those weapons. He has Diggs there, and he can put the ball on the money. And it seems like sometimes it's just so effortless. He just, just a little flick of the wrist and the ball is on the money. So at this point, and like Britt mentioned, that he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers don't have the receivers that he had last year. So I'm going to take Josh Allen. This was an easy one for me.
Okay, nice. Let's finish it up on the defensive side of the ball. Aaron Donald, who some people say is the best interior defensive lineman ever. I probably have him second behind Warren Sapp, but Aaron Donald against Micah Parsons, who's drawing comparisons to Lawrence Taylor. So who you got right now? Take your pick, Britt. Micah Parsons or Aaron Donald?
No history, right? We're not putting history aside.
History. Right now.
I gotta go with the Penn State alum right now, Mr. Micah Parsons. 4 sacks in 2 games, and he said, "I'm going to get that LT record, Lawrence Taylor record of 15 sacks." And right now, he is absolutely on pace to get that. He's just a dog right now, a straight dog. It's like they can't stop him. They tried, they double team him. They cannot stop him. The only thing that may have stopped him was when Leonard Fournette chip blocked him a little bit. That probably got a couple of people upset, but hey, a block is a block. But Aaron Donald, he's just not, it's still early in the season. We know he's going to get things going, but he's just not playing up to par as of right now. But right now, I got to go with Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Parsons as well. I just think because they move him around a lot, he has a chance to just make a lot more plays coming off the edge, dropping back in the passing game, rushing up the middle. He can get you in so many different ways. So because of the versatility, I'm going with Parsons. K-Walk, what say you?
Yeah, another unanimous one here, guys. I'm going to go Micah Parsons for everything you just mentioned, Jay. I just like, when Dan Quinn was able to put him in a situation where he moved him from the middle to the outside and allowed him the freedom to just, go all over the field. It just created a monster, man. He really did. He just created a guy it's just unbelievable. Lawrence Taylor-esque, he really Taylor-esque, excuse me. He really is that type of guy, and you could compare him to him at this time. Britt mentioned 4 sacks in 2 games, and he just does more. He can just move around around the field a lot more than Aaron Donald is. And Aaron Donald, he has to deal with a lot of double teams, but he's still a monster doing going up against those double teams. But Micah Parsons, I think right now is the best defensive player in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, guys, let's finish up with this. And I did not tell you I was going to ask this, so we're just going to get your raw reaction here, and then we'll wrap it up and get out of here. We all saw Jimmy G get inserted into the 49ers lineup after Trey Lance went down. And obviously we never root for anyone to get hurt. I mean, it's part of the game, but you hate to see an injury. But Jimmy G, Britt, now being the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, is this ultimately going to be good for the 49ers, or would they have been better off with Trey Lance?
I think it's great for the 49ers. I think the 49ers got lucky on this one, to be honest with you, because they was getting ready to trade him. He was getting ready to be gone, only because I just don't think Trey Lance was there yet. I think with this type of team, and we stated before, they have a Super Bowl contending team outside of that quarterback position. The only question mark was Trey Lance, you know. I think with this type of team, you need a Jimmy G, a veteran, a more experienced quarterback, a quarterback that has been there before. You know, just a few years ago, they went to the Super Bowl, and then was it last year? You went to the conference finals. So he has that experience. He's very familiar with the starting explosive players. They know each other very well. He understands situations more. He can make the throws needed. I'm not saying Jimmy G is this all-world Tom Brady type of quarterback, no, but he's good enough for this team. And I think in this moment, the players wanted Jimmy G. I know they're sad for Trey Lance, but I think all in all, they wanted Jimmy G. And for Trey Lance, he's going to get there. I believe he will get there. I just think he would have been better suited as if the 49ers were rebuilding and they could build with him.
Yeah, look, the thing that's going to be interesting for me, like if Jimmy G plays really well this year, let's say the 49ers make it to the Super Bowl, what do they do next year? Do you give the keys back to Trey Lance? Do you keep Jimmy G? So this is going to be sort of a thing that plays out over a period of time. But K-Walk, nobody knows this team better than you. You said you let out a few expletives when Trey Lance went down. How do you feel now, man? Is this better for the 49ers, even though it comes from something very unfortunate, or do you think they would have been better off with Trey Lance in the lineup?
You know what, Jay, we don't know for sure. I know it's a question that, you know, it's you look at it, you're not going to know. And I wanted to know. I wanted to know because I felt like, you know, by week 8, we would have known if Trey Lance was that guy. And I think that would have been enough time to say, okay, well, we'll make this move. He's not ready yet. Let's go ahead and salvage this season, get into the playoffs with Jimmy G. But it's rough that this kid had to go down the way he did. You know, man, it's, you know, how I said on Wednesday night, man, I'm not going to go into that again, but nonetheless, I think the 49ers are in a good situation. I'm not going to say they're in a better situation because we just don't know what Trey Lance would have done had he stayed healthy. But the 49ers are good. They're in good shape to me. I mean, we're comfortable with Jimmy G. We know we're going to get with Jimmy G. Like Britt mentioned, Trey Lance was a question mark. So a lot of people were uncomfortable with that. And that's why I said earlier, you know, you go with the known and you leave the unknown alone. But now that Jimmy G's back, you know what you're going to get with him. And a lot of people are confident with that because they do know what Jimmy G can bring to the table. And then they know that they can rally around him and not have to pick up too much slack for sure. But yeah, better. I'm not going to say better, but they're definitely good to go. Put it that way.
Yeah, you know, it's tough to say better, right? Especially when this is the team you root for. You see a guy go down. It feels like to me that they're going to be better maybe in the short term, right? They've got this team that's ready to win. They have a veteran QB that can come in, knows the offense. So short term, it feels like better. Long term, another year of not being able to develop for Trey Lance.
That's what I hate.
So
that's what I hate.
We'll see how that affects him in the long term, but at least in the short term, it certainly feels like they're in pretty good shape. All right, good stuff, guys. We got to get out of here, wrap it up. Britt, the weekend is here. It's Friday. What do you got planned for the weekend? What are you looking forward to? And tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
It's fall, guys. It's officially fall, and I love it. It's hoodie season, my favorite season. So I'll just be out and about. But I'm looking forward always to football, watching football. Training camp starts for the NBA starts next week. Oh, Jay, we got to shout out your Aces, the Las Vegas Aces. They won the WNBA championship. We didn't get a chance to shout them out, so we're going to do that now. Because
is Asia good?
yeah.
Is Asia good? She sobered up.
Man, they were
What she
wilding,
say
weren't
on
they?
what she say on the press conference? I'm lit. I was like, wait a minute.
It's lit up in there.
But no, football, of course. Hopefully my Eagles will pull out another victory against the Commanders. They should, but it's only going to week 3. You never know. But you guys, can I say the name of the new show yet? We're gonna wait. You know what? I guess we'll wait. We'll do that next week. We'll wait for the new show next week.
Okay.
But you guys could follow me on IG, TikTok. What's the other one? Twitter at Britne Monique. I'm trying to get started into the Twitter, guys. So bear with me with Twitter. And also Facebook at Britne Jones. And of course, please subscribe, like, comment, and please share our YouTube channel. What is our YouTube? Shoot Around. It's Gary Change, guys. So I'm thinking of the new name. Right. Shoot Around BJK Podcast. Same channel. The name will just change soon.
There you go.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, Brent, I'm just looking forward to the football as well. I'm kind of excited to see how my Penn State Nittany Lions are going to do tomorrow after just beating the brakes off of Auburn last week. I want to see them come back and play another good game. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. You can find me on social media at Jason Talk Sports, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at Jason Talk Sports. K-Walk, bring it home, man. What are you looking forward to this weekend? Where can the people find you?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to everything you guys just mentioned. Football, college football tomorrow. Looking to see what my Florida Gators look like against the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow. I think your Penn State Nittany Lions are going to be all right tomorrow. I'm pretty sure on that one. But also, if y'all keep seeing me peek over, man, I'm watching the Yankee Red Sox game to see if Aaron Judge is going to hit 61 tonight. So I'm definitely dialed into that as well. Of course, my 49ers on Sunday against they're going into Mile High against the Denver Broncos. I'm definitely going to be tuned into that. Looking forward to a great one there. Looking forward to some great football. As far as where you can catch me on social media, Instagram, Kevin.Walker 142, Twitter at Kevin Walker 142, TikTok. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Just like Britne with Twitter, I'm just like me with TikTok. I'll be there, and that's at Kevin Walker 72, and of course Facebook, Kevin Walker.
All right, good stuff, guys, and listeners, please, as Britne alluded to, we've got some really good stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned. Look out for some changes. We'll make some announcements on next week's show. So just stick with us. We thank you for listening to the Shoot Around. For Britne Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins, and we'll see you next week.